This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Well, good day. I'm Elena Russ. A Bakersfield police detective arrested on Saturday on suspicion of drunken driving, according to police. Sergeant Robert Pear confirms Detective Luis Rodriguez, an 11-year veteran of the department, has been placed on paid administrative leave pending an internal investigation. And now let's turn to our 17 homicide tracker as Bakersfield police investigating a deadly shooting yesterday afternoon in South Bakersfield. The BPD says officers responded to reports of a shooting at an apartment complex on Hosking Avenue just west of Union, where they found the victim inside a vehicle. Officers say that man was taken to the hospital where he died. The victim's family has identified him as Joshua Mercado. This investigation is ongoing, and anyone with information regarding this homicide is asked to call the BPD at 327-7111. Now, 17's Marco Torres will have much more from the victim's family tonight on 17 News at 5. Meantime, the sheriff's office is investigating a double homicide in East Bakersfield. This one happening about 5 o'clock last Saturday, March 18th, on Lexington Avenue near the Vallarta on Niles Street. Deputies say they found a man and a woman who appeared to have been violently assaulted, and the coroner's report lists their manner of death as shooting. The victims have now been identified as 50-year-old Cesar Munoz and 45-year-old Elidia Solis de Mejia. Well, here at 17, pedestrian safety is one of our signature issues, and we have an update to two of the pedestrians who were killed last week in Bakersfield. One happening Friday night just before 7 p.m. near 4th and V Streets in central Bakersfield, when investigators say a man in a wheelchair was hit by a car. Today, that victim, identified as 57-year-old Fatino Sierra Vega of Bakersfield. Investigators say the driver in this crash is cooperating, and speeding, alcohol, and drugs do not appear to be a factor. Vega was the third pedestrian killed last week alone, and by our count, the 13th pedestrian fatality in Kern County this year. Now, the day before, another pedestrian hit and killed about 8 p.m. on South Chester Avenue, just south of M Street. Investigators say the suspect vehicle took off, but witnesses at the scene of the crash described that vehicle as a dark gray Mazda sedan and were able to provide officers with a possible license plate. Physical evidence from a dark gray vehicle was also found at the scene and taken for evidence. The victim has now been identified as 37-year-old Jesus Alberto Nelson Jr. Tomorrow, one of the most highly anticipated trials in Kern County in recent years is set to begin. A jury was chosen last week for the trial against Trezell and Jacqueline West, the California city couple charged with murder after two of their adopted sons, Orrin and Orson, went missing more than 2 years ago. The panel of 7 women and 5 men was finalized on Friday. Opening statements scheduled for tomorrow morning. The jury will be tasked with deciding whether the Wests killed the boys, who were ages 3 and 4 at the time of their disappearance back in 2020. Their bodies have never been found. And now to some headlines around the nation. Devastation in Nashville, Tennessee this morning as another elementary school shooting has taken the lives of young children. Nashville police say it happened at the Covenant Presbyterian School as a woman opened fire on elementary students and staff. Officials say 3 children were killed along with 3 adults. Their ages have not been released. The Metro Nashville Police Department confirmed officers engaged the shooter at the school and shot and killed her there at the scene. A motive is unknown, and no victims have yet been named. And now to news around the nation. The New York grand jury weighing whether to indict Donald Trump over an alleged hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels is reconvening today, just days after the former president held his first campaign rally in Texas, and DA Alvin Bragg received a letter with a death threat. NBC's Jay Gray has the latest from outside the district attorney's office in Manhattan.
Yeah, we are learning that the grand jury is expected to hear from another witness today as they continue to consider charges against former President Donald Trump in the case involving hush money paid to adult film star Stormy Daniels after an alleged affair. At a campaign rally in Texas over the weekend, Trump blasted this process, proclaiming his innocence and falling back to a familiar theme, calling the investigation a political witch hunt.
This is really prosecutorial misconduct. That's what it's called. The innocence of people makes no difference whatsoever to these radical left maniacs.
We also expect to learn more here today about a letter sent to District Attorney Alvin Bragg. The envelope with a Florida postmark contained non-hazardous white powder and a type death threat targeting the DA. Bragg has said repeatedly that neither he nor his office will be intimidated as the case continues. In Lower Manhattan, outside the DA's office, I'm Jay Gray.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
Camelot Park on Oak Street in Bakersfield was demolished last week, ending its almost 30-year run as a popular entertainment venue. The park has been vacant since it closed in January. New ownership was the reason for the bulldozing that took place on Friday, although there was no update on what will replace the former arcade and sports establishment. There's a lot of interest in finding out what the future holds for that site, which local residents say holds many fond memories of family outings over the years. And carbon capture, the pulling of CO2 from the atmosphere and industrial sources, is seen as an essential technology for combating climate change. And 17 News has learned the Biden administration has tapped the Kern County Planning Director to help develop a national carbon capture and storage industry. Lorelei Oviatt will sit on one of two task forces to provide recommendations to the federal government on efficient permitting of carbon capture and storage projects across the nation. County Administrative Officer Ryan Alsop applauded the appointment, saying Oviatt's strategic vision has made her a, quote, preeminent authority on energy policy. All right, here at home, the runners from across the country hit the streets of Bakersfield this weekend for the return of the 6th annual Bakersfield Marathon.
4, 3, 2, 1.
There it is, the event including a full marathon, of course, a half marathon, a 10K and a 6K. Nearly 2,000 runners gathered early Sunday morning in the cold for the race. Many of you might have seen the roads completely shut down to make room for the racers as they made their way from the Kern County Museum through downtown, east toward Bakersfield's College, and along the Panorama Bluffs. 17 News was out at the event handing out water to runners at mile marker 17 throughout the morning, and we just had such a blast. Thank you for having us. Well, happening this week, let's take a look at some events around town today. Victory Family Services opening an open house to support interest in becoming a resource parent for a local child in foster care. Tuesday, the Beale Memorial Library hosting a community creativity event with the Playful Space at 11 a.m. Wednesday, it's Jersey Mike's Day of Giving. For every order sold in Bakersfield on March 29th, 100% of the proceeds will benefit our local Ronald McDonald House. Thursday, Honor Flight of Kern County is hosting a donation drive-by event at Chewy's beginning at 4 p.m. Friday, the Go Red for Women luncheon will be welcoming more than 300 people at the Stockdale Country Club to raise money and awareness for controlling heart disease and stroke cases among women. Saturday is the beginning of April and National Child Abuse Prevention Month. CASA, the court-appointed special advocates for kids, will display hundreds of pinwheels that represent each Kern County child in foster care as a part of a fundraising drive to pay for the services CASA provides. And Sunday, enjoy a Quinceañera Expo and fashion show from 1 to 4 at the Links at River Lakes.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.